GTA Online can be incredibly overwhelming. You log in, your phone gets lit up with like a million text messages and calls from people you don't know, telling you to buy this business, buy this car, buy this super yacht, but you just don't have the money to do it. It's confusing. So today, we're gonna cut all of that out and I'm gonna tell you the 10 best things that you need to own as a solo player in order to make money and progress your character through GTA Online. And at number 10, we have an Acid Lab. The Acid Lab came out at the end of 2022, so it's still pretty new. And the reason it's on this list is because it's one of the best passive businesses in the game that was designed specifically for solo players. So what does that mean? Well, a passive business is a business that will make you money in the background while you do other stuff. All you have to do with the Acid Lab is go back and buy more supplies for it, or just call Mutt on your phone every couple of hours and buy supplies there. Then, once the product bar fills all the way up, which will happen over a few hours, you can sell it and make tons of money. Now, I've done a full business breakdown on the Acid Lab, where I broke down how much money you spend, how much money you make, everything. And it comes out to you should be making about $60,000 per hour with this business. Which for a lot of people might not seem like much, but remember that's happening pretty much completely in the background. You don't have to do anything for that. So while you're doing something like a heist to make more money, the Acid Lab is still going in the background, making you even more. Then, once it comes time to sell, no matter how much product you have in your Acid Lab, you'll only get one sell vehicle, which is why this business is great for solo players. A lot of other businesses in the game, when you go and sell it, it's going to spawn 2, 3, or 4 sell vehicles, which means that mission is either going to take you a long time to complete, or you're going to need to get friends to help you. You don't need either of those with the Acid Lab, which is what makes it so great. At number 9, we've got the right weapons. And again, weapons are just something that is so confusing. There's so many guns, it's really hard to tell what's good and what's bad. So let's start off with the basics. An assault rifle, you're going to want to go for something like the Special Carbine. It's a trusty gun, it'll do pretty well. You can also upgrade it to the Mark II variant if you have a bunker and you do the research. I'd also recommend getting a combat MG. You can get 100 bullets in the mag, does a lot of damage, hits hard, pretty good. You're also going to want an up and atomizer. This little gun will get you out of so many sticky situations, because whether you've been playing GTA Online for 1 hour or 1 decade, you've definitely got your car stuck somewhere you can't get it out of, and if you shoot your car with this, it'll help get it unstuck. For your sniper, I would recommend the Heavy Sniper Mark II. You can also put explosive rounds on this one if you have the Mark II ammo, which basically takes out any aircraft in 1 or 2 shots. For your shotgun slot, definitely the Assault Shotgun. Really, really good gun. One of the best guns in the game. It's just a fully automatic shotgun that can get 32 bullets in a mag. Can't say no to that. You're going to want some sort of heavy weapon, probably a few. The railgun is great for taking out aircrafts and vehicles. The RPG, the homing launcher, the grenade launcher, all of these are very good. And then in your submachine gun slot, I would definitely recommend getting the Tactical SMG. This is because it's a one-handed weapon and it's the best weapon in the game that you can use while you're driving a car. And we'll be coming out with a more in-depth weapon guide in the next few days or weeks here, so stay tuned for that if you want a bit more info. But for now, let's move on to number 8. And this is going to be an armored vehicle, specifically something that you can use in missions and heist preps. A lot of the futuristic vehicles in the game, and the military-themed vehicles like a tank for example, you just can't use those in contact missions or heists. And that's a big drawback because a lot of people like running those missions and they want some sort of protection. So for that reason, I'd recommend low-level players, high-level players, anyone should have an armored vehicle like the Armored Kuruma, the Duke of Death, or even something like the Vigilante. The Armored Kuruma is pretty much completely bulletproof, so it makes any sort of mission a complete joke. It's very easy. The Duke of Death is similar, doesn't have quite as good of a protection, but it is free for most players, so it's free. And then something like the Vigilante has insanely good rockets that track targets pretty much everywhere. It's not bulletproof, but your enemies are probably gonna be dead before they can even shoot you in this thing. So having a vehicle that you can use in these missions is a must. At number 7, this is something I wasn't too sure if I wanted to put on the list, but I'm gonna put it here. It's the Salvage Yard. This came out at the end of 2023. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's almost a must-own for all players. So how it works is there's 3 different vehicle robberies that you can do per week. Completing all 3 of them will normally get you around $1 million per week, so it pays pretty good. All of these missions are also completely solo-friendly, but maybe the main reason I would recommend this business is once every few weeks, Rockstar makes one of the vehicles that you go and steal in these vehicle robberies pretty much completely free to actually own. So it doesn't happen often, but occasionally, yeah, like I said, every few weeks, Rockstar, instead of letting us sell the vehicle after we steal it, which we can still do, sometimes they'll give us the option to actually keep the vehicle. And these vehicles can be expensive. Sometimes they're over $2 million. So being able to get that vehicle for pretty much free just by doing one robbery is a really, really good deal. And for that reason alone, it makes the cost of the business completely worth it. At number 6, we have the Agency, one of the best businesses in the game. Honestly, all of the businesses on this list are pretty much some of the best in the game. That's why they're on this list. The Agency in particular, though, is very good because it lets you start up the Dr. Dre VIP contract. So why is this so good? Well, again, it's completely solo friendly. You can do all of this completely solo. And it's going to pay you $1 million every time you complete this contract. You can complete the contract in about an hour and a half, I would say is pretty reasonable for most players, which makes it one of the best ways to make money in the entire game, right behind the Cayo Perico heist. On top of that, there's a lot of other stuff you can do with the Agency, like the security contracts, which will give you about $40,000 to $60,000 for a little mission that only takes a few minutes. And then you can call Franklin every so often and complete a payphone hit, which also will pay you about $40,000 or $50,000. I can't remember what they put the price down to now. They got significantly nerfed, but they're still very good. And that's not even mentioning the Amman tech that comes with the Agency. So I'm actually going to put that one next on the list at number 5. And that's Amman tech vehicles. Every solo player needs to own at least one of these. So what the hell is an Amman tech vehicle? Well, in your Agency garage, you can add Amman tech to some vehicles. There's only a handful of vehicles in the entire game that can get this. The list of those is on your screen now. And when you do that, you can equip things like a missile lock-on jammer to your vehicle, which might not seem like much, but trust me, this is one of the best things in the entire game. You know when an Oppressor Mark II griefer locks onto your car and blows you up over and over and over again when you're just minding your own business driving around the city? Well, with the missile lock-on jammer, that's never going to happen to you again. As the name suggests, yes, this stops anyone from locking onto you with any sort of missile. So it allows you to drive around in public sessions without the fear of getting griefed randomly out of nowhere. You can also add armor plating to these vehicles as well, which will tank a few rockets, which helps. And if the vehicle's an electric vehicle, it can actually tank a lot more rockets, around 12 before it's going to blow up. Overall, Amman tech was just one of the best additions in the entire game over the years, and it's definitely a must-own for pretty much every solo player. At number 4, even though the price of it is now $8 million, I still have to put it on the list. It's the Oppressor Mark II. It's still just very, very good. It's now infamous with GTA Online. Everyone knows what the Oppressor Mark II is. You've probably seen them flying around your lobbies. If you're a new player, you might not know what they are. It's a flying bike that has lock-on missiles. Enough said. And because it's technically coded in the game as a motorbike, that means you can spawn it right next to you, just like any other car, which makes it incredibly useful for grinding money. Now, yes, you've probably seen a lot of griefers with the Oppressor Mark II flying around your lobbies, and some people do use this to grief. But for me, I use it to grind. I use it to do my business stuff, do heist setups in free mode, and if you want to use it for that, it's incredible. You get across the map really quick, you can land it in some really niche and tiny places that you wouldn't be able to land a helicopter or a jet in. Yeah man, I don't know what to say. It's just still really, really good. One of the best vehicles in the entire game, and you should definitely own it. At number 3, we have probably my favorite business in the whole game. It's the Nightclub. Ever since the Nightclub came out in 2018, I believe, it was good from the start. But over the years, it's just kept getting buffed by Rockstar to now where it's pretty much the best business in the game, unless you want to include the Kasatka as a business, but that's a submarine, it's kind of different. The Nightclub itself, as in the actual club upstairs, can earn you $50,000 every 48 minutes, passively. You don't have to do anything other than keep the popularity bar full. Then if you move downstairs to the underground warehouse in the Nightclub, depending on how many other businesses you have in the game, you can assign technicians to go out and get you even more product for those businesses and store them in your Nightclub. And again, this is completely passive. You don't even have to do anything besides come back to your Nightclub every few days and then sell it. Just like the Acid Lab, there will only be one sell vehicle as well, which makes this business completely solo friendly. And if you're using the actual Nightclub up top, helicopters getting you $50,000 every 48 minutes, plus the warehouse down the bottom, which will make you close to $50,000 every 48 minutes as well. That means completely in the background, you're making about $100,000 every 48 minutes with this business. It's impossible to not recommend this business. You need to own this business if you want to be filthy rich in GTA Online. It's just awesome. If you don't have one, go buy one now. At number 2, we have the Sparrow Helicopter, which actually just got a buff as well, increasing the health of it. As of right now, the Sparrow is the 3rd fastest helicopter in the game. It's got lock-on missiles, which obviously are great, they help. And you can spawn it right next to you, which you can't do with many other helicopters. Now, to get this vehicle, you do need to own a Kasatka submarine, which, spoiler alert, that is going to be number 1 on the list, which we'll talk about in a second. But what that means is because it's stored inside your Kasatka submarine, you can go into your interaction menu, click on Services, Kasatka, scroll down to your Sparrow, click that, and it's going to spawn the Sparrow right next to you. If you're flying all the way across the map, it's actually faster than something like the Oppressor Mark II, but the main reason the Sparrow is so great is because you can use it to grind out the Cayo Perico heist. So without further ado, number 1 on the list is the Kasatka submarine, still, yes, in 2024. It took the top spot way back in 2020 and it hasn't left. Even though the Cayo Perico heist has gotten nerfed, like 3 or 4 times now, it's still just really good. And it's still just the best way to make money in the whole game. So if you're unaware, buying the Kasatka submarine allows you to start up the Cayo Perico heist, which funnily enough is actually the last heist they added into the game. They haven't added a new heist in 4 years. But if you don't know much about the Cayo Perico heist, if you're using something like the Sparrow to get across the map quickly, you can easily complete a full Cayo Perico heist in 1 hour. And that heist is going to pay you about $1 million, normally over $1 million. So to be able to earn $1 million in 1 hour is just insane, and it's by far the best way to make money in the entire game. So for that reason, in 2024, the number 1 thing every solo player needs to own is the Kasatka submarine. So we'll wrap the video up there. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Boys!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop. Need no calculator.